A very good afternoon to you all. Thank you for watching UBC Television. With me, Wadulo Mark Arnold. This is your weekly news roundup edition of the Lunchtime News, the bulletin that brings you those stories that made headlines within the week. So stay tuned. It's going to be an hours of a recap. To start off, the long-distance runner Jacob Kiplimo did it again this Saturday when he won yet another gold medal for Uganda in the 5,000-meter race at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, ending the week in style. Having earlier won gold in the 10,000 men's final, the 21-year-old runner reciprocated the form, beating Kenya to the podium and showing them a clean pair of heels. Kiplimo posted a time of 3 minutes, 8 seconds and 8 microseconds to beat Nicholas Chimeli, who came second on 13 minutes, 8 seconds and 19 microseconds, whereas Jacob Krop, another Kenyan, posted 13 minutes, 8 seconds and 48 microseconds to complete the podium spot. By posting a time of 3 minutes, 8 seconds and 8 microseconds, Kiplimo ran his seasonal best so far in the 5,000-meter race to ensure that he bagged his second medal at the ongoing Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, the first one in the 10,000-meter race. In total, Uganda has registered 5 medals. 3 of these are gold and 2 are bronze. We do apologize for that mishap. Moving on, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni this week re-emphasized Uganda's need to manufacture goods locally so that Uganda's economy can become self-reliant. The president, who was giving guidance on the hiked price commodities in a televised address, cited Uganda's unfavorable balance of trade position being the major cause of the inflation we're currently experiencing. These are the details. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni says that Uganda has more to gain from exporting finished goods as opposed to exporting raw materials, which fetch lesser earnings.
Importing. That's why point number 5 of the NLM 10 points was saying we are going to build an economy which is integrated, independent and self-sustaining. And we have done, we have moved. I will show you how we have moved. You should audit it, how we have moved. Build an economy which is independent. Minimize okusaka, minimize buying from outside.
He gave commendable examples of sectors that are emulating the manufacturing model, that Uganda needs to prevent imported inflation, and encouraged other sectors to emulate.
Beer, that one is now, we are no longer kusaka. Cement, imitayimbwa, steel bars, tea is processed both for local consumption and for export. Textiles, milk and milk products. These people of agriculture should come one day and tell you how that sector is now totally vertically integrated, from the kulunda, from the cow, to the processing, to the byproducts even. It has moved very well.
According to recent UBO statistics, imports decreased by 0.8% to $798.3 million in February 2022, compared to $804.6 million recorded in February 2021.
The colonial economy at independence and up to 1970, when it broke down completely because of Idi Amin, was the economy of the 3 C's and the 3 T's. 3 C's meaning economy of coffee, of cotton, and copper. The 3 T's were tobacco, tourism, and tea. These were good, but the problem is that they were being exported as raw materials. This is where the problem is. When you export raw material, you get less money than if you are to make a final product out of that raw material.
The president also invited Metu Katabazi to present his story on how he saw an opportunity to serve a local market through local fabrication of buses.
Our industry of bus fabrication was established in 2018, and the reason why it was established, because industry is established to serve mankind. From the 1960s, Uganda was importing complete bus units from a neighboring country in East Africa, and we continue to import even today, even though I have a factory in Namamve. So I established this factory in order to fabricate buses for our country, so that at least Uganda we are self-sufficient in bus manufacturing, and possibly also for neighboring countries.
The national address was primarily meant to address the current commodity price hikes, mainly due to expensive petroleum products occasioned by the war between Russia and Ukraine, and also the gradual phase out of petroleum being used in motor vehicles. Wadulo, Arnold, UBC News in Kampala. Furthermore, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni this week contributed 5 million Ugandan shillings as condolences to the families of each of the flood victims. The money was delivered by the Minister for Presidency, Babidi Mili Babalanda. At least 23 people have so far been confirmed dead following a heavy downpour. Most of the victims were swept into River Nabuyonga. Museveni described the tragic incident as regrettable, but says that it is partly caused by the failure of the people to take his advice on the issue of protecting the environment. These are the details.
Today we are here in Elgon regions. I've been sent by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, who is also the national chairperson of the NRM party, to come and condole with the family which were affected by the floods. It is really a pity and very unfortunate. I, being a believer, I say that may their souls rest in eternal peace. At this time also, let me take this opportunity to direct all the RDCs, RCCs, deputy RDCs, and deputy RCCs to sensitize the community about the dangers of cutting down trees, practicing agriculture in wetlands, and also constructing houses and factories in wetlands. It is illegal and prohibited. I urge you, to my fellow Ugandans, to desist from such acts. I want to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, who is also the national chairman of the NRM party, for what he has done to come and condole with the affected families. May the souls of the deceased rest in eternal peace.
And relatedly, residents affected by floods in Bumbobi sub-county in Mbale this week received relief items sent by government. At least 43 homesteads in the area were affected by floods, and many of them still lack boarding facilities. Ivan Kaur with a report.
Communities living around River Nyamwamba flood area need to cooperate with the contractors, Ambitious Construction Company Limited, to carry out the silting of the river.
Locals residing in at least 43 households lack where to sleep following torrential rains that swept away their homesteads in Ibumbobi sub-county.
These rains have hit hard the poorest of the poor.
Locals affected have abandoned their houses due to fear that they may be swept away by waters,
which they have never flooded to the magnitude of this time. So we are shocked of what has happened.
Masete Julius is among the affected residents, and his house was constructed along the river bank.
Once a full and complete house with a kitchen is no more. I am told 11 people were living in this house, but following the heavy rains, they had to flee for their lives. They tried to save some things that were in the house. Unfortunately, in the process, the building collapsed. 11 of them now are scampered all over the village looking for shelter, as this place has been abandoned. We found him camped at the LC3 chairperson's office to receive relief items.
And we have been only given 490 kilograms and only 10 tablets where they are going some people to take shelter in them. And we are thinking that it should go across, even if someone gets 5 kilograms or 7 kilograms, at least, but we are going to look at the size of the family.
Julius told me that he now resides in this old structure belonging to his late father, who is buried at the same location. He is among the first beneficiaries to receive the relief food items in Bumbobi with many others.
Papa na simia na shire na tubakufa ni timoni wanjetele mubulai.
By press time, the lists of those to receive relief items were still being compiled. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Mbale district.
Quite unfortunate, Mbale, we are with you. Desilting River Nyamambwa in Kasese district began this week as rains start threatening the area. A consultant from the Ministry of Water and Environment, Frank Chuanuka, says that the works will target hotspots along the rivers to protect the infrastructure from causing mayhem in the area. A detailed report.
Communities living around River Nyamwamba flood area need to cooperate with the contractors, Ambitious Construction Company Limited, to carry out the silting of the river. A consultant from the Ministry of Water and Environment, Frank Chuanuka, told UBC that the works on the river targets to guard against flooding.
And we are going to protect the rivers by using embankments, dikes, gabion mattresses, masonry, and cyclopean concrete.
VLC3 chairperson Bulembia Division in Kasese Municipality, Richard Bomera, noted the villages that are hotspot to prone the disaster along River Nyamwamba were left out, which he says leaves residents in panic.
Yesterday there was some increase in the volume of water, but it already reached the homes in the Katons. It already reached the homes in Chanzuchi. It has already reached the homes in Katiri. So all the areas are prone to disaster.
Government also needs to solve the problem starting from upstream.
They have started below the point where the biggest problem is. There is a point which is between the powerhouse of Nyamwamba hydropower project and also the bridge of Chanzuchi, where the biggest problem.
Water levels have also started increasing, especially when it rains. Government to collect enough information about areas that are highly affected by floods, also relocating those that are in dangerous places.
We also request the government to really look about it, to look at it and get more information concerning the people who are in the prone areas.
The desilting of River Nyamwamba is expected to cost over 7 billion and is targeted to deal with emergency maintenance of River Nyamwamba for flood mitigation against damage of critical infrastructure and loss of livelihoods. Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
In another development, Busega market contractor was this week put on notice to rectify structural defects within 2 months. The Prime Minister Robina Nabanja issued the directive at the new Busega market in Ruwaga division, where she had gone to inspect and assess the level of preparedness ahead of the official opening.
The Prime Minister's visit follows complaints about structural defects that have caused delays in the official opening of the multi-billion market facility. She was taken on a guided tour around the market facility and particularly to those areas which had issues to sort out.
I have information that when it rains, here is like a river or a lake. So you tell me how you are going to do it. We shall not hand over this market until you have put this right. Buli lwetonya wano wajjula amazzi era kyekindeese oyagala toyagala we shall not hand over this market, and I will tell the president mwakola shode wano buli lwenkuba lwetonya nga wajjula. There's no slackness. Mbadde manyiyo consultant sawa mukunda banja ebyo byakola ntakugambe Ben. Here, this place here, which means there is leakage.
It seems it's the rain from outside.
Either it comes from out or there is a leakage. And when it comes from out, you would have given it drainage. But here it is like a lake when it rains.
The top floor of the Busega market complex, designed as parking space, floods wherever it rains. To be fully operational, this market facility needs parking space on the ground to accommodate heavy trucks carrying fish and matoke supplies, among other items. Nabanja directed KCCA to ensure that all illegal structures surrounding the market and built in the road reserve be demolished within 2 months.
Wanomba wadde myezi ebiri mubenga mumaze okkiriyalingawo. Era tusaba abantu abali mu mayumba agali awo emyezi ebiri babenga basenguse tusobole okkiriyalingawo abantu bafune parking. Oludde eri waliwo amayumba ge bazimbye nga mapya, ndagira KCCA olabenga gavuddewo mu myezi ebiri. Kakati amakuba agayingira wano nga akatale tekannagulwa mu myezi ebiri, njagala kusaba mukulu Ben kumumanya side eri tukiriyalinge tufune ne entrance oba exit eziyita eyo okwaavoidinga congestion ey'akatale wano. Kakati njagala kwogera ku lisiti baŋŋambye nti lisiti twagikola 210 elisiti weeri wano ey'abagenda okolera muno ya lisiti bantu 100 ya 210 eyo ngisazizaamu. Obuyinza obumpeebwa Pulezidenti Yoweri Museveni ebyo bye bivumaganyisa gavumenti ebyo tetujja kubikkiriza. Twagala abantu abali ebweru abakola abalina emirimu gye bakola bajje mu katale ate ku bwereere.
The list of over 1,000 vendors earlier identified as beneficiaries was rejected by the Prime Minister. She called for fair and equitable allocation of the market stalls to benefit the original and eligible vendors on one-man, one-stall basis.
Atusabye kwongere kudabiriza akatale kano tunakagulirawo nga painting nungi nga floor nungi ate tujja kulaba n'omulimu gw'amazzi ganagayingira munda mu katale. Tuteekewo amabaati oba tuteekewo
ekiziyiza kyonna okulaba nti enkuba teyingira munda mu katale kwonoona ebintu by'abantu.
The mayor of Rubaga Division, Mbera Zezake, hailed government for efforts being taken to improve trade order in Kampala City. He particularly appreciated the Premier for her timely intervention that should facilitate faster opening of the market.
Okulaba nga twanguya okugulawo bulungi abantu baffe bafune mu bizinesi eno twetaaga okubanga tuguze kakekiryanyi yakuleka mwebale.
The NRM chairman, Rubaga Division, Abdallah Chitata, noted that there was need to urgently clear all roads leading to the market to enable efficient service delivery.
Nkusaba PM akatale kano okukola ne value yaako okuvaayo enguudo ziri zonna eziyingira akatale ziggulwe. Ekyokubiri wano parking eno n'ennyumba zino ziri mu ttaka lyo lya lodiriza.
Busega Market in Rubaga Division is one of the markets that were constructed under the Urban Markets and Marketing Development of Agricultural Products with funding from Government of Uganda and Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa.
In other news, nominations for Bukimbiri County parliamentary by-elections kicked off in Chisoro District Council early this week. An independent candidate who is an NRM-leaning Asgario to the agenda was the first to be nominated. And the second candidate to be nominated was that of FDC party James Oebei at 10. According to the returning officer Chisoro District, there are 5 candidates that picked nomination forms, including the incumbent Eddie Kwizera Waguhundu.
It was a busy day at Kisoro District headquarters as candidates for the Bukimbiri County parliamentary by-elections were being nominated. The first candidate, Asigario Turiagenta, was nominated at about 9 a.m.
Declare Turiagenta Asigario duly nominated as candidate contest for election as member of parliament for Bukimbiri constituency in Kisoro District.
He was nominated on independent candidate, although he is an NRM leaning.
I am really very happy to reach on this day of nomination, and as Bukimbiri people have seen my people here, they are really ready to support me, to push me, to make sure I reach in the parliament. So the journey begins now.
His candidature was even backed up by some members of NRM party, the MP for Kisoro municipality, Paul Buchanaindi, and that of Bufumbira North, John Kamara, and they defended their actions.
I wish to tell Ugandans and the Bufumbira and the Bukimbiri that the culture of Kisoro is that we don't have opposition, that every person in Kisoro is NRM, and himself contested as NRM during primaries. Things did not go well. There was a problem, we decided to become independent.
Absolutely sure that he's the best candidate.
Why?
Because he has the capacity to work with others. He's a very knowledgeable man, he's a very capable man, he's active, he has the drive.
The actions of the MPs did not go well with the NRM as affirmed by the party spokesperson Emmanuel Dombo, since they expect all party members in the district to support the flag bearer Eddie Kwizera.
I know the party leadership has been very lenient because of the transition from the movement system to the multi-party dispensation. And because of this, and at times because of the indiscipline that has been demonstrated at various levels of leadership. At SEC, we have seen it happen, and at Parliament, it has also happened. But I think it is now high time that the leadership of the party considers taking stern action in order to create discipline within the party.
The second candidate nominated was of FDC party James Oebei at about 10 a.m.
We are optimistic, we are working hard, we are strong enough, we have all the vigor to win this by-election and throw out NRM, not only in Bukimbiri, but also in Kisoro.
The returning officer, Kisoro District, Daniel Naevare, commended the candidates for having followed the set rules.
Candidates are orderly,
and they have observed the guidelines we told them, because we said at the nomination center we are not allowing more than 20 people. I'm so impressed that they are bringing even less than 20 we had given them.
3 candidates, including an independent, that of NRM Eddie Kwizera and that of National Unity Platform, will be nominated tomorrow, August 2nd.
One Uganda.
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kisoro.
We'll now take a short commercial break and return with more news from this weekly roundup edition. Stay tuned.
Vimba ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Did you know it is mandatory to have all births registered and a birth certificate issued? Failure to do so attracts a penalty of imprisonment or a fine. It's proof of age and belonging to parents, protects and provides children with legal rights from crimes and abuse like defilement and child labor. Give your children a good future today and have their birth certificates. For more information, visit the NERA office in your area or visit our website www.nera.go.ug. This message is brought to you by NERA.
Oh, Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, nga you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello, is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using 2 Gabonais. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
You get the National Cultural Center. Namukekerua Inasu Park na MTN back to Sako. Webinulie Mbale. Tusungu de Mumbale SS Grounds. Dokumenta Sato Augusto. Line up Yaba Stars Red and Omoni. Alipe Wimbe Rusukura Seminci. Pia Pounds. Profitum to you. Garuka Center. Mickey Wine. Brian Waze. Green Daddy. Rachel Ray. That's Kata. Kazime Kapo. Friends Sejewa. Friends Sebata. Baimbi Mbale Bona. Endogoye Live. Bandi Lukoba Kulukoba. Fireworks Wakunyoka Kwalwa. Emiyanje Gura Sawa Sadezo Kumacha. Abakozi bavuye Temuzunga. Uganda Police. Ya kuongeza security. Bijindwa Musente. Hema Water. UNNC. UBC. Namakungulu Rural Industrial Park. Beaulaga. Nibitekebwa. Sama Vulu Balamo. The Nick Promotions in Tuchikova.
Welcome back. You're still watching the weekly news roundup. Now to take you into more stories from the week. The electorate in Kisumu City in Nyanza province of Kenya are very confident that Raila Odinga, the Azimio la Umoja candidate, will win this week's 2022 general elections. They believe that the handshake, his manifesto, and the support from the Kikuyu community will make their dream come true.
It is the last day of the campaign rallies in Kenya, and we are here in the lakeside city of Kisumu. This is where Raila Odinga, one of the presidential candidates, hails from.
And lucky enough, we have managed to have an interaction with some of the electorates. Of course, Kisumu, you know, for many people have always thought that the presidency should have come here probably 50 or 60 years ago.
Yes.
And it has been elusive, just 2 days to the elections.
Yes.
What is your expectation? And what if you don't get it?
Kisumu people, we used to be honest. We believed in honesty. So during that time, we were honest with Kikuyos because they were the ones who started championing for Uhuru. So going against that wish of them, it was difficult for Kisumu people. So tuliwaonea huruma, alafu wakachukua. And are you aware that huruma God is paying back today?
Okay.
And this one, there's no question itakuja. This one is in. It is a matter of time.
My other question is about, you know, we can have the People's Parliament here, the parliamentarians conversing for the entire day, but when it comes to the election day, some of these gentlemen might not be there. I don't want to say that they won't be there, but what have you done to ensure that your people turn up overwhelmingly in huge numbers to vote for your candidate?
Well, for the last 1 or 2 weeks, we have been campaigning door to door and giving them the message, the importance of turning out in large numbers, especially on Tuesday. Yeah, and in fact, they have been seeing the area. They have been encouraged by quite a number of people, prominent people, including even the president was just here the other day, encouraging people, and they saw that there must be something, because they are getting the support that they never used to get.
Being a youth is not about age. Being a youth is a mindset, and Raila Amolo Odinga has got a mindset of an 18-year-old Kenyan. He thinks about us, and that is what we want.
Okay, you're a youth, you're a young man, you're going into this election. Of course, this is history, you know, and it reminds Kenyans so many things in 2007. And what will be your appeal to the youth out there as we go into this election? And of course, why I'm bringing up this question is that there's this fear, of course, if you've been moving around, the people are saying there is a high possibility that there might be chaos. Of course, there are some regions that have been hot-spotted. What will be your message and what will be your appeal as we come to the tail end of this interview?
Well, I know that we are going to have 6 ballot papers that is going to be given to every voter. Now, I will appeal to Kenyans across board. Let us look at the main goal. And the main goal is to have the right driver who is going to drive this country moving forward. The right driver that we are going to have is Raila Amolo Odinga. The remaining 5 should not seriously divide us. I know we have the governor to vote for, the senator, the women rep, the MP, and the county assembly representative. I know politics is divisive, but if the 5 happen to lose, then let them embrace the victorious person and live to fight another day. But as for Raila Amolo Odinga to be the president, that is non-negotiable.
As the UBC crew covering the Kenya general elections, we've been at Malaba, Kitale, Eldoret, and now in the lakeside city of Kisumu. The next destination will be Nairobi for the D-Day. Dennis Igoa and Juman Samba for UBC News.
Thank you very much, Dennis Igoa, for that in-depth feel of what's happening in the lakeside city. Now, general elections are still scheduled to be held in Kenya on the 9th of August 2022. Voters are to elect the president, members of the National Assembly and Senate, county governors of Kenya, and members of parliament of the 47 county assemblies of Kenya. It will be the 3rd general election after the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution of Kenya. This year's general election saw the lowest number of 4 of the presidential candidates cleared since multipartyism was implemented in 1992.
Sawa, itosha vijana. Fellow citizens, thank you for keeping the flames of freedom alive in our country. Thank you also for standing with me in the many years of struggle to liberate Kenya. Thank you for the battles you have fought together. The journey has been long, but I have not fought alone or felt lonely. You have fought together. But allow me to take this very special moment to convey my very personal and deep gratitude to my family and the entire Odinga family for their enduring spirit in difficult, upsetting and tragic times. Through the times, they have kept powering through and lived up to the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga's mantra that freedom has a price.
Well, we look forward to seeing what the polls bring come 9th in Kenya. Now, bringing you back to Uganda, the Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Basumbadi, this week tasked the Special Investigation Branch Bureau in charge of investigating cases in the court-martial to speed up inquiries into matters for quick access to justice. He was officiating at the ceremony where the Lieutenant General Andrew Guti handed over to Brigadier Freeman Robert Mugabe as the new Chairman General of Court Martial.
Retired Lieutenant General Andrew Guti has handed over instruments of office to successor Brigadier General Freeman Mugabe, the new Chairman General Court Martial. The ceremony took place at the General Court Martial in Machindi. Brigadier General Freeman Mugabe promised to serve the people of Uganda and the Commander-in-Chief.
I, however, undertake to put out the best within my ability and live to the aspirations of the appointing authority. To the winning technical team of the General Court Martial, I know as a fact that you are the main effort in the execution of this task. I therefore implore you for enhanced teamwork, mindful that we deliver as a team.
The Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Basumbadi, officiated the handover ceremony. It tasked the Special Investigations Branch Bureau to carry out speedy inquiries to address case backlog.
Investigative matters you mentioned about, so SID, pull up your socks, and improving the terms and conditions of service. And this is generally being taken care of. And also we must constantly adjust our methods of work to suit the legitimate needs of the force that we serve, the UPDF and our country, Uganda.
General Wilson Basumbadi also highlighted on the key points to be tackled by the incoming chairman.
We recognize that in order to strengthen the rule of law, to protect human rights and freedoms, and to enhance and maintain public confidence in our military justice system, it is imperative for us, both at an individual and an institutional level, to respect and honor the judicial office as per mandate of courts under Article 126, brackets 1 of the Constitution of Uganda.
Brigadier Felix Kulaije, UPDF spokesperson, hailed retired Lieutenant General Andrew Guti for his tenure.
In his term, he has handled, of course, high-profile cases that many of them, some of you know. There is the challenge of the interference of the civil courts, that normally some suspects come with the court decisions or orders halting the trials.
During the handover ceremony, retired Lieutenant General Andrew Guti was appreciated for service as Chairman General Court Martial for 6 years. Over 300 pending cases awaits Brigadier General Freeman Mugabe. Among these include the one for the former AIGP General Kale Kayihura, former Command of Police Investigations Operations Unit Nixon Yagasire, the 32 National Into Platform supporters, and the prominent court bailiff Moses Chirunda. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Furthermore, government is to sponsor grade 3 teachers who are currently unemployed to get a diploma in education studies. This comes after government announced phasing out grade 3 and grade 4 teachers' qualifications last year, where every teacher is required to have a degree by 2028. The Commissioner of Teacher Education Training and Development at Ministry of Education and Sports, Jonathan Kamwana, said that said this while commissioning a water system and girl dormitory built by World Hunger Heifer at Moroto Core Primary Teachers College in Moroto Municipality.
In October last year, the government, through the Ministry of Education, announced the changes in primary teachers training, where grade 3 teachers and 5 qualifications were phased out in favor of bachelor's degree. While commissioning the girls' dormitory and water system constructed by Weltang at Moroto Core PTC, the Commissioner of Teacher Education Training and Development at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Jonathan Kamwana, clarified the new changes.
We are phasing out other colleges, so come January next year, Moroto Core PTC will be admitting teachers from within the region on about 2 or 3 programs. One, those who do not have a job yet, but they are grade 3 teachers and they are out there. Government is going to take on them to train for a 2-year diploma course, government sponsored. But those who are training, who are teaching out there, they will come in the holiday on a private holiday program. They will pay for themselves.
Kamwana says the ministry has put in place national teachers policy to address the challenges faced by teachers.
To regulate our behavior, teachers have been conducting themselves unprofessionally. Going forward, what teachers will behave professionally in the communities. You do something wrong or in the test, so you come and get a job in Moroto. You do something wrong in Moroto, you go to Kampala and get a job. Now, with the teacher management information system, if you are somebody who committed adultery here, who implemented the school girl here, we shall have the information in Moroto, in Masaka. You want to get a job in Masaka local government or anywhere in Uganda. Because we are centralizing this information about each teacher. We want to act professionally.
However, Kamwana decries limited funding ahead of new changes.
Let's prepare for us these changes. We are well aware we are not providing enough. The capitation is not enough. We are aware. We are providing 1,890 shillings per student for 254 days in a year.
Relatedly, Kamwana urged school management to always be innovative.
The time of your service in an institution, bring something new. We should be innovative, we should be creative, we should think around how best do I turn around what is available and make use of what's available to improve on the welfare of the tutors and the welfare of the students.
Meanwhile, Weltanga, humanitarian organization operating in Karamoja sub-region, has constructed a 42-bed capacity girls' dormitory at Moroto Core PTC. According to the college principal, Stephen Kamsongwe, this will increase the number of female teachers. People thanked Weltanga for supporting the education program in Moroto.
Tonga is the major development partner in education that is handling both software and hardware. On several occasions, I have attended many coordination meetings with the education partners, and I have always quarreled. You are spending a lot of millions on software, telling people to plant gobe when there is no rain.
We register our sincere gratitude and appreciation to Weltanga for the support given to the girl child and education sector in Moroto Core PTC and Karamoja as a whole.
The project manager to Weltang Dick experienced widely focus on education.
About a dozen schools, or a bit more than a dozen schools, which we are supporting. We are not constructing new schools. We are looking at schools who are a bit in danger, in problems, who have a lot of inconveniences. Even more to demonstration at the time, I think they were educating some children in tents. The police barracks primary school, they were educating children in tents. Now we have other schools where they have so many P1 pupils that they are only educated under trees, and we try to help.
The school has 120 students who are the last group to be trained as grade 3 teachers, but the college is challenged by limited teachers' accommodation, where most of the teachers share accommodation. Moriniga, UBC.
Furthermore, the Ministry of Education and Sports has been advised to continue emphasizing training of more teachers for the new national curriculum this year to enable achieving its objective. The educationists are emphasizing that in order to implement the new curriculum, the ministry should consider reducing taxes on the internet, among other requirements needed to implement the curriculum.
A number of schools across the country have embarked on their second term holiday 2022. The head teacher of King Fahad Islamic Primary School in Busega, Hanifa Nalde, says this program is very vital in the campaign against unemployment.
That encourages teaching skills is the way to go. We had left it to international schools and the children are better off. But since it has come to our curriculum as UNEB, we are very, very happy that it's going to work. We'll thank the government for the trainings that have been given to the teachers, and I encourage teachers to carry it on because it is the way to go.
He was seeing off learners of King Fahad Islamic Primary School going for their second term holidays and encouraged parents to equip them with domestic skills and discipline. At Mityana Modern SS in Mityana Municipality, the headmaster, Sekanabi Joseph, appealed to government to reduce taxes on internet and donate necessary equipment to implement the new curriculum.
Builds up to cover the whole all-level classes. We may need another teacher. And right now in the country, you cannot have a teacher on your own of Swahili. You have to share with another school, could be a government school, because government did not build capacity in the teaching of Swahili. We should have produced the teachers, many of them, to take up the teaching of that language. And I would encourage them.
Kanabi commended government for emphasizing the teaching of Kiswahili and advised them on training more Swahili teachers to satisfy the high demand. Sudat Kaye. Fred Kasbante, UBC News.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government, Ben Kumumanya, has urged selected companies under agro-processing projects to embrace the parish development model. He disclosed this during the signing of the contract with 11 companies under the local economic project with support from the Islamic Development Bank.
11 agro-processing companies under Local Economic Growth Project have signed a working document with Ministry of Local Government aimed at improving farming and people's livelihood. The project is being supported with close to over 7 billion Ugandan shillings.
Local government, because we have concluded a process where we were processing these contracts for their 11, and they are in agro-processing of various commodities, mainly maize, rice, and this has been part of the agro-industrialization agenda, which is NDP 3, but also it's in line with the parish development model because Pillar 1 is about production, processing and marketing.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Local Government, Ben Kumumanya, officiated the event and advised the companies to prioritize parish development model for government development.
Feel that the first two of engagement, which will be the construction, the delivery of equipment, as well as our supervision, will follow suit to make sure that at the end of the 8 months, we shall deliver this project.
The National Coordinator Local Economic Growth, Engineer Fred Kasule, appreciated the Ministry of Local Government for the partnership.
To inform you that this is a program about improving productivity where we are in our rural areas. We are particularly working in rural areas to improve production and productivity. So what you are actually, the work you are going to do, as you may realize, is about agro-processing facilities that you are going to be constructing out there. And you are not just, for you, yes, it's business to construct, but the more important thing is that these facilities are supposed to help the local communities out there to...
Justin Nakami, UBC News.
5 people were this week arrested and 20 others are still at large in connection with the cutting of 40 cows and burning 4 houses belonging to Pastor George Baguma of Bwera Miracle Church in Changwali Sub-County, Chikube District. These are allegedly said to have committed these offences on Wednesday this week, and they turned violent following the arrest of 5 of their colleagues by the State House Land Protection Unit.
What have you done? Surely. But you the backbone. I cannot stand. When I speak, this is very bad. Including the LFT. This is the unfortunate.
5 people have been arrested over killing and injuring cattle in Chikube district mid this week. They are all being detained at Chikube Central Police Station. The arrested include Aston Muhwezi, a businessman from the area, George Kamhanda, a brother to Pastor Baguma, Helen Munanura, the Bwera LC1 woman representative, Nelson Muhirwe, a casual laborer of Muhwezi, and Godwin Munanura, the Bwera LC1 chairperson. Chikube Resident District Commissioner Amlan Tumusime says they spent the whole night hunting for the suspects and they managed to get 5, while 20 others are on the run.
Looking for the vice chairman and the other 20 people whom we suspect.
He notes that this will help the police in its investigations into the matter.
After the investigations are done, we are going to take these people to court. We cannot in any way support this kind of impunity where people take the law into their own hands. We are not going to sleep until whoever participated in this act, this barbaric act, is arrested and prosecuted.
Meanwhile, the RDC reveals that they also intend to investigate officials from the State House Land Protection Unit that were on the ground on Wednesday.
We are investigating allegation of torture by this team from State House Land Protection Unit. We have about 15 people who allege they were beaten. Majority of them are women during the time when they are effecting the arrest. Police is also investigating, and if they are found guilty, we shall also charge them, because nobody is above the law.
The Albertine Regional Police spokesperson, Julius Hakiza, says they are going to charge the suspects with arson and malicious damage.
Because the allegations that these are people, some of them were inciting violence. Then others, they participated in the torching out to the 4 houses of Pastor George Waguma. So our intelligence is on the ground, then to find out which way.
He called on members of the public to ensure that they inform police about the whereabouts of the other suspects who are at large.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
And now in the world of business, the Chief Coordinator Operation Wealth Creation, General Salim Saleh, this week challenged coffee farmers in Semuto Village, Nakaseke District to be strategic, plan well, innovate, and make sound decisions if they are to benefit from cooperatives. General Saleh made these remarks during a fact-finding meeting organized by Operation Wealth Creation and the Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and this meeting was attended by various Ugandan cooperators and aimed at assessing operational capacity of all agro-processing facilities. These are the details.
Agro-processing Industries Limited, we are going to support Kirema Coffee in 100 million shillings.
Operation Wealth Creation and Uganda Cooperative Alliance's intervention at this meeting is geared towards finding lasting solutions to increase productivity of all cooperatives in Uganda.
If a government implements a project like KAIP, what happens at the end of KAIP? That is where you find
that most of these facilities are idle, they are underutilized. And according to the study done by the Ministry of Local Government on the facilities that were given out to the communities, over 40% of these facilities have not been utilized. They are just there, idle.
The meeting focused on capacity building, advocacy on policies, electricity tariffs, agro-processing, governance, risk management, implementation and regulatory framework.
Ogenda okumaliriza nga abeegasse abantu abalimi emmwanyi bazitutte eruwero kubanga yewali ssente capital gwe balina tabamala miliyoni 3 tebisobola kumalawo emmwanyi ziriwa era bamaliriza emmwanyi bazitisse bazitutte essemuto bazitutte eruwero kubanga eri wootuukira woofunira.
Farmers urged government to revive the cooperative bank to address the high cost of loans in order to encourage utilization of agro-processing facilities, such as this at Chilema Agro-Processing Coffee Cooperative.
And we think that this niche exists simply because the cost of money from the existing financial sectors has become very high. It's in double digit, and yet for any agricultural sector to operate effectively, at least the single digit to about 6% could be more productive.
The Chief Coordinator, Operation Wealth Creation, General Salim Saleh, promised to boost Chilema Farmers Cooperative with 100 million Ugandan shillings and pledged more support through cooperatives once the resolutions discussed are implemented.
Yes, because the cooperative bank must be owned by the primary groups. Yes. So muchogera nayo muchogera just right, sir. Because if you are thinking about the cooperative bank, the biggest contribution now is the 1.1 trillion as against the parish. Because of the Zimbabwe parish, never owning a cooperative bank.
Government, through the Community Agriculture Infrastructure Program, CAIP, in 2016, set up 270 agro-processing facilities across the country to boost sector productivity and profitability. Unfortunately, all the facilities are operating at 40% of their capacity and below due to the high cost of doing business. Furthermore, Uganda Development Bank also launched the Enterprise Development Program that's aimed at preparing entrepreneurs for financing through enhanced business practices. Access to finance remains a major challenge for businesses, especially small and medium enterprises in Uganda, because many are not formalized and structured.
The Enterprise Development Program will be a series of trainings under the bank's Business Accelerator for Successful Entrepreneurship Program, conducted with basis to build business survival and resilience and to walk the entrepreneurship journey in supporting business owners to appreciate why they should operate their businesses professionally so as to guarantee their long-term profitability and sustainability.
Taxes are not supposed to be a burden. And that is why when we engage in this kind of forums, we want to teach you how we can work together.
We have partners like UDB we work with. The first thing said, no, I'm not going to UDB. I said, why? They delay process, they don't tell us anything. It's like an elephant up there, we can't reach out to it. And I said, so what did UDB propose? They proposed they would give me only $20,000. I said, that is what you are worth of. So we must be honest with ourselves when we go out there looking for money.
Yes, we need to pay our taxes. Yes, our bookkeeping has to be right. Yes, our governance has to be right. Our standards, our licensing. And those are some of the things that we want to tackle because, ladies and gentlemen, those are the things that our SMEs face.
Where do we stand as Uganda? We are currently collecting 13% tax to GDP. The point I'm making, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are collecting so little in spite of the fact that our economy has grown over the last 10 years, so we have very little to make a meaningful impact if we are going to get middle income status.
We have now harmonized our standards so that once your product is certified by UNBS, your product can freely access the market within the region without getting what? Subjected to, again, quality checks.
In order for us to achieve the objectives that we have in our priority sectors, be it manufacturing, be it tourism, be it agriculture, be it agro-processing, without MSMEs, we lack on the supply side and we would lack on the demand side. So all our efforts would really be naught.
The program will be conducted across the country, starting with the central region, where the bank is expected to train over 365 entrepreneurs with consequent trainings. In the northern region, where 279 entrepreneurs shall be trained. Eastern region, 273 and 250 trainees in the western region, respectively. Sandra Kahonde, UBC News.
Well, thank you very much, Sandra Kahunde, and that brings us to the end of our weekly roundup edition, that bulletin that brings you those headline stories that made news within the week. I remain Wadulo Mark Arnold, and thank you for being a lovely audience. Stay tuned for more news in our subsequent bulletins. Good afternoon.
MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99K.